You know, most people that stream, I feel like they actually talk about like or something, but I just like make it all up. Because I mean, I'm like the biggest liar. You know, if everything I say is just like sort of spun up out of thin air, like I'm weaving some web. I'm a spider. Call me Spider Man. The way I just, create some topic of conversation out of nothing. But it's like about, you know, what is composed within the air. Why can't we say that life is just as much that? You know, particles and compositions and these sounds that either scare us or give us courage as they travel along lines like somehow air is a solid, but it's just cracked so much that it forms this atmospheric place while being able to continually see some line. You see convergence and these other separations through the entire complex. What's the correct way to view the world, you know? I really wonder if there is a correct way. Because the more that you just say that it's like perspective, the more that you just create this idea that there is no right way. So you're sort of counter collective, right? You're sort of this thing which actually fights every perspective. That's what's on my mind right now, at least. Is it that profound? I don't necessarily know. I don't think so. But it sounds sweet, you know? Sounds like there's more to life if I can create these images. These images like life is more than what you see. Life is your ability to think wisely. The more wisely you think, the more there could potentially be in life. Only misunderstanding what you can't understand and understanding everything which has been given a plan of expression. You've expressed it, you've made an impression. So when it's there, it goes without question. What is technology compared to all the poetry, the ability to complicate life in a manner that makes it impossible, yet so useful in escaping life's pitfalls and dramas? Is there anything more based? Is there anything more ridiculed by a man who thinks he knows all things than the simple word? Its power is absurd. So I'll take all my words and I'll pile them all up. I'll create a stack so high that the moon will say it's up. Vast libraries turn into castle walls in which nobody lives but fairy tales. And in these places where fairy tales live, all sorts of creatures in many tongues can be understood as well. And many people of sane thinking thought that this thought had fallen far away from Earth and taken a wrong turn, been something that was found to be a liar, perhaps cowarding, and cowardice drove the castle's walls higher. Our imagination, it seems, was out of control. We couldn't take it. The troll's toll was too much. We couldn't make it. But anyways, imagination lives on in these plays, and this castle of dreams and of fancy nightly things and of tales of wizards and creatures of majesty. The more that you tell me that these things they can't be, the more that the idea of the word will escape you and come to me. It will be something which finds its way into my hand. As words, they go to who can command some aspect of them which contains life, the idea of a spark electrified. I am a hot wire, I am a hot line. The living word will come to you in time. So what will it be? Will it be normalcy? But again, what is normal? Is it silence? Is it the ability to be level-headed and say that there's a perspective? What if that's all I'm doing, but it just goes over your head? I'm too tall. I'm just way too tall. On average, at least, you know. On average, yeah. Worldwide, on average, I'm pretty tall. So I guess my poem is, you know, sort of works out that way. But yeah, what a wonderful world. What a world full of questions and these elaborate schemes. Like life could actually be scheming, or is it just planning maniacally? The idea again of vision, our eyes menacing. Do they take us away? Do they sweep us off our feet? If we can command the eyes, can we do something neat? Everybody trying again to find the best picture, find the best way, and say that, you know, I'm a troll, here's the toll if you want to come this way, you know? So anyways, that's basically what life is, just a daze. It'll be over before you know it. Just embrace everything then. Just say that, you know, you might as well show it. Because that's life, folks. That's life. And it comes and goes. Sometimes it makes you curl your toes, and sometimes it makes you cough up blood. Makes you feel like some sick thing, like you're chewed up spit and cud. And then some other time you sit in the sun and you think everything's done and the battle you have won and you expressed yourself. All life was a test of expression. It was simply a question of whether or not you could believe in yourself. And one day you sat in the sun and you felt something and you said, "Hey son, what's up son? How you doing son?" You want to know something, son? And then all of a sudden you felt weird. You felt weird about it. You felt weird about trying to create something, trying to actually create a landmark. Like, you're not supposed to be there. All of a sudden it's lost its spark. So you begin to run away. You fear that day. If time was ignored, would every duration be present time? Ah. I don't know if we can ignore time. Like maybe if we like apply like thoughts inside of our questions, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, we know it's not realistic, but we can like just pretend. Like if we could ignore time, would everything be present time? Sure, I think it might almost be like over in a flash. You know, I will actually revert this question back to your other question yesterday when I was doing legs, where you said like, does the soul get old? You know, do we change? I think that the knowledge of our soul is actually eternal. It's this unknown thing though. So in that way, it's an eternal thing. But as soon as you enter into a space outside of time, I think that it's like a flash. It's like a flash of light, and it's like this idea that it's just your perspective. It's just you. You know what I mean? I think that as soon as you become something that's like one, that would be like living in the moment of everything, becoming one with everything, right? I think that as soon as you do that, that's just you. And then all of a sudden you're back to where you are. Because the universal like soul or perspective of everything is like just perspective. And so it's like it's all you'll know sort of thing. It's like you'll only know your perspective. But don't worry, because you know everything will be one again or whatever. But at that point in time, that's just your perspective. Because it like is meant to give you perspective. Maybe time is like perspective then. You know what I mean? If this great ominous thing that exists through everything is like meant to give us perspective, maybe it is time. Maybe it gives you time. Maybe time is all we have. Maybe you'll be all you'll ever have. You know what I mean? But what are you going to become? Maybe again, God is like a mirror. If I go back to like some conversations we had like 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean? I said ultimately every conversation which is riddled in nuance and tries to have a sense of progression or newness to it just becomes like a reflection, a mirror. Until you gain so much momentum that you don't question the opposite side and you give conditions as to where, you know, things can exist without a perspective beyond theirs. I don't know, did I answer your question? I feel like I had a better thought about this like earlier today. I was like, yeah, Biggs like asked me about that like question about if your soul ages, you know, or if it's like some eternal thing. Like, I totally understand your question, you know. I totally understand it. Like, how could our soul age if it's made of this? If it's like integral to like who we are, it's like that's the stuff that never goes away. We can never lose it. It's integrated into our very being. You know, but I think as soon as you understand maybe it's just you or something, then that's like immediate age, but it's also that's like time itself. But you know what I mean? Like it's instant. I feel like this is getting into like quantum physics or whatever. I could talk about that. Which is just like, yo, thank you for the thumbs up. How would we ignore time though, you know? Like, how could we do that? I think maybe the more you lose your ego, the more you could lose time. Which is kind of funny, it's an oxymoron, because the more time that you lose, the less time you have. So the trick would be finding out what part of you exists without time. And again, maybe it's just perspective, which just means that it's like only you. Maybe we've just like stumbled upon the soul. Maybe that's what the soul is then. Where you think like it's only you. Do we create the future? I mean, I feel like that question is like obvious, kind of, but it's also like, you know, sort of a real question at the same time. Because it's like, obviously, we create the future, you know what I mean? But I think maybe if I was to say, like, if a place could exist out of time, it's mostly metaphor. It's just like everything in life is just a habit, right? Everything in life is just a habit. And so it's like, all technology and all experience is no more complicated than like you're just being. Your being itself understands how to operate every mechanic in the world and the universe. So in that sense, there would be no time. But do we create the future? Like, I think it's yes, but it's like, I think the question that everybody wonders is like, can you change things like, how fast can you change things? Because I think that it gives you a sense of how little or how much control you actually have, right? Not necessarily can we change the future, but can you change the future? There's power in that statement. It's a statement of like trying to understand how much control we actually have, is what I think at least. So, I mean, I think that just basically if you plan something, right, and you work towards it, obviously the chance of it happening is more likely than if you don't, or if you just do it. So in some sense, some of the future you can plan, but that's like in consideration of everything. We can get like, I always say that there's like steps of delusion, right? It's like you can have like some perspective that is like sort of not too wild, and then they just get wilder and wilder and wilder and wilder. You know what I mean? Like, do we create the future? I don't think he heard you. So it's like, again, the question is a question of free will, because it's like, does anybody have like the ability to change something? Again, you make the question of just like, how much do you want to be an enforcer of what things are? I think we have a misconception of what the future is anyways. The more you try to paint a picture of the future, I think the less it's like the future, because the future is something which can go in any direction. Supposedly it's so advanced that basically you can go anywhere, you can go anywhere. You know, so repeat it as many times as you want. So I think that there's a little bit of like some oversight in saying like creating the future, or with a general perception of what people perceive as the future, because look at today. Everybody does all manner of like everything throughout all time. You know what I mean? In the past and whatever, people still dress as knights and have sword fights and go in castles and start fires and, you know, make butter with a stick in like a bucket. So in the future, what will the future be like? I'm sure that some aspect of ourselves is still there, but some aspect of ourselves is far gone, it's far removed. Maybe it isn't related to us at all until we relate to something so small that we feel like everything is insignificant. But maybe that's the future then, just as much as it is the past. Maybe that's why we say to live in the moment. Maybe we've just experienced a little bit of trying to ignore time here, at least for a moment or two. Because I think when we reside in that place where it's ultimate creation, I think that it's like will has sort of depleted. It's like we can be anything. Why do my answers feel like poetry? Because I am saying them like poetically. I know what I'm doing. I'm saying them like that on purpose. And because I've written a ton of poetry and I've practiced a lot of like just speech, you know what I mean? Like just speaking, trying to make things, I think there is like a natural poetry of life too, kind of, right? Where it's like, how do you create like a flow of conversation? Anyways, is it just supposed to be, this thing that's boring? Or I can probably talk like that. Yes, we do create the future. At least some part of it. You have Starbucks, Madagascar, vanilla coffee, nice. That sounds good. My cappuccino is pretty good. But yeah, like, would you like listen to me talk like this? Yes, I do think that we could create the future. I think that the future is a very complicated thing, though. And because of its complication, it's hard to understand how much of the future we can actually create. Because what are we taking into consideration when we speak about your statement? If we try to collapse the enigmatic construct of man's totality, do we try to understand the idea of control from the beginning? In which, if we say that we had any sense of control, why don't we change now, anyways? Right? I could talk like that, but I just don't anymore. It's like almost easier for me to talk the way I do now. Just because I've done this for so long. But yeah, that's cool. You're enjoying a coffee with me, man. We're just chilling, dude. We're just two dudes, just chilling, just having a coffee. Some of my most favorite like memories were like when I had lived in this like college house. It was like a frat house, right? And every morning we'd all wake up and we had our coffee machine set on a timer. We had like who's my favorite writer? Let's see. I really don't know many famous writers. R.L. Stein. Give you some rice. I know that sounds good. I'm about to go eat it myself, actually. I'm about to go and eat. R.L. Stein, Goosebumps, right? That's what R.L. Stein is, isn't it? I used to read a lot of Captain Underpants books, and I used to read a lot of Harry Potter. I read all the Harry Potters. I read like a bunch of Captain Underpants. I read all of Aragon. I read all of like a bunch of scriptural books. I've read Plato, Plato's The Republic, the Aeneid, Dante's Inferno. Maybe something like Dante's Inferno actually, or like I've read some of like like a bunch of different stuff of Plato, like Plato's Apology. They're like whatever else, like some of like Aristotle's stuff. I like the old poetry. I think I like older poetry, like pretty sick comic books. Yeah, well, I read manga more than comic books. I've read like My Hero Academia and like this thing called like Mars, the series called Mars Red. But I really liked reading My Hero Academia. MHA. You aren't supposed to eat plain rice. Yeah, don't eat it when it's not cooked, man. That's not good. It'll like break your teeth too, trying to chew it. And it'll like expand in your stomach. You'll like eat more than you're supposed to or something. What else have I read? Yeah, I used to read like a bunch of manga. Yeah, I know, weebs, right? But I Hero Academia. I used to comic book stuff. I used to watch Justice League all the time. Like when I was a kid, I watched Justice League. That was what I watched. I never watched Avengers stuff. It was all Superman and Batman and The Flash and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of comics, like I read more manga, and it's mostly just My Hero Academia. Don't eat white rice? Yeah, well, they say it's like, here's what my health teachers would say. They said, like, the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead, because it's like more, like, processed or whatever. Beowulf, yeah, I really liked like Beowulf, and I really liked like, oh, the Odyssey. Because it's like written, that's like written in poetry. It's like epic poems. I like old classical poetry. Like, yeah, like the Odyssey, the Iliad and Odyssey. Rice has to be flavored. Yeah, flavor your rice with some stuff. Just salt, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like rice is pretty good with just like maybe some salt and pepper and butter even. Or like maybe, you know what I mean? Like some cumin and coriander and whatever else. Or maybe some like soy sauce. Like, where do you want to be? Like, you can do like a Western version of rice, like an Eastern version of rice, or like a maybe even with curry, yeah. I like chicken tikka masala or whatever. That's like my favorite Indian dish. Is like chicken lemon tomato. I like chicken, what is it? Chicken masala, chicken tikka masala or whatever, with some naan bread. That's the bomb. Western version is wrong with just butter and like salt and pepper. When people in the West eat rice, it's like maybe they'll put like cook it with they'll just cook the rice and then they'll cook it with like some herbs, like not too many herbs, like maybe like fennel, sugared rice with biscuits. Yeah, I like rice pudding too. Like just rice with like milk and sugar or whatever, and you like boil it. That's what Western people eat as Indian food, is chicken tikka masala. That's like my favorite. That's like one of my favorite dishes. I love it. But I've never been to India to like try actual Indian food, you know? I heard that curry like was actually something that the British like kind of stole, and they like curry is kind of wrong from what it really is in India. Because like the British, when they like took curry, they like made a common spice of curry, whatever, that's like curry powder or something like that. And so everybody in like Britain had like this idea of what curry is, but it's not really what it is in India. I saw that on a food show like last week. Inshan food is more vegetarian. Gotcha. So like no chicken in the tikka masala or whatever. But yeah, like I said, I'd love to go to India someday, go to like the Taj Mahal and whatever else. Check it out. Spicy food with the blended vegetables. Do you like do you ever eat tofu? I was vegan for a while. I like tried it out. And I like ate tofu all day and like green beans and like ranch. For some reason, it all ended up being like Asian food. Like the more vegan I was, it was weird. Grilled cheese sandwiches with Cajun French fries, those sound good. Tofu isn't good. I sort of learned to like tofu a little bit because I would eat it with like soy sauce and stuff. And I started liking it. So here at this coffee shop, it's like almost Valentine's Day, you know. I don't know if other countries celebrate Valentine's Day, but here in America we celebrate Valentine's Day. And I was like going around and I bought like a box of chocolates for all the people that work here for Valentine's Day. Yeah, Biggs is making me hungry too. I'm gonna go eat soon, so it's all right. He can make me hungry. Yeah, guys, it's almost the end of the day. And Biggs, I'm gonna go and like work on my Elden Ring build too. After I eat, I'm gonna go work on my build and see if I can't beat that guy. So be ready for that tonight. An average Indian family eats non-vegetarian on Sundays only. Nice. Yeah, in America, it's all just mixed up. It's like everybody just does something different. You know what I mean? It's like everybody just does their own thing, kind of. It's like if they're on a certain diet, then they don't do certain stuff. But everybody just is just like, you never know what people are gonna eat here. Thousand Island dressing, you're dipping your sandwich in that. On like salad, I do. I like Thousand Island on like salad. I'm more of a Caesar salad though kind of guy. I like a good Caesar salad with like some Parmesan cheese on it. And if I'm dipping like a grilled cheese sandwich, I like tomato soup. I like dipping grilled cheese in tomato soup. But I think I'm gonna go, guys. It's been a nice 35-minute chat. It's been good. Vegan food is supposed to be pumped with veggies, yeah. Like I said, I probably was vegan for like 6 months or something. I was vegan for a while. Not meat alternatives. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. It's been good, nice. Yeah, this has been a nice little chill stream. Just Alien and Biggs here. But anyways, yeah, just to update you guys, I got everyone here chocolates because I was like, yeah, they deserve something for Valentine's Day. Because Valentine's Day is kind of rough, in my opinion. It's always like a rough holiday. It's like, yeah, everybody gets singled out, whether or not like you have a significant other or something. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. And Biggs and Alien, I'll probably get on later and try to beat. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. I'll try and get on and play some Elden Ring, see if we can't beat that guy tonight. That like Black Blade Malekith Knight or whatever. So anyways, guys, take care. What's the big deal with what? Before I go, I'll answer your question real quick. Oh, didn't know that was a holiday? Yeah, in America, it's like a holiday of like couples. So it's like if you have a significant other, you can look it up on the internet called Valentine's Day. It's like you go and you get like if you're a guy, you get girls like hearts and chocolates and like flowers. But it like for a lot of people, it's kind of like stressful because it's like if they don't have a partner, they just feel like makes them feel depressed. But anyways, yeah, that's Valentine's Day. All right, guys, bye. Yeah, big deal with Valentine's Day. See ya.